Hello everybody, it's your friendly digital technology librarian, Christy here. We've reached another Friday, so of course I have another Film Rec Friday ready for everybody out there. Now, last week we were all about summer being a time when romance just happens to be in the air. Whether we're talking about a summer vacation meet cute or beach party sparks, whatever, something like that. This week, however, it's time for Christmas in July. And nothing says happily ever after quite like a Hallmark-esque romance. This week I have three really excellent Hallmark-esque holiday picks for people out there. Two that are actually Hallmark films and one that is a Lifetime holiday film that stars a massive country star. And as we are in the midst of yet another heat wave, I'm hoping at least one of these films will have you blissfully checked out into a mental winter wonderland for about the 90-minute runtime that these films all happen to run. If none of these particular holiday films happen to speak to you, make sure you check out our video services, CleveNet's Overdrive, Hoopla Digital, and Canopy. They are filled with tons of holiday movies. Hoopla especially has a huge selection of both Hallmark and Lifetime holiday films. So if that's your jam, definitely check those out. You'll find something on there that will speak to you. So, as always, all of the films recommended are available to you entirely for free with the use of your Milan-Berlin library card. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and jump right in to our Hallmark-esque holiday recs. Okay, as mentioned, Hoopla Digital has a ton, and I mean a ton, of both Hallmark and Lifetime films, many of which happen to have holiday themes. So if you are looking for even more than what we are presenting to you today, absolutely have to check those out. So many really, really fun happily ever afters available. You will definitely find something you like. As such, all of today's recommendations are going to be from Hoopla Digital, and I think I've picked three really solid gems for you. The first one of which is 2016's Christmas Under Wraps. Now, Christmas Under Wraps stars Candace Cameron Bure, who is one of Hallmark's big reigning holiday queens. She's in a ton of movies every season, it feels. And this one happens to be one that I really, really do enjoy. It doesn't take itself too seriously. And I think for me anyway, that's really, really kind of key. An HEA is one of those movies that's not going to be super off the beaten path. We know what we're going to get by the end. The two main characters are absolutely going to fall in love. They are absolutely going to find happiness and bliss. It's not like there's going to be conflict or an open ending. That's not what we're looking for when we're looking for these kinds of movies. And I always sort of give HEAs a bit of a side eye when they take themselves too seriously. This one does not do that. This one knows exactly what it is. It's light, it's fluffy, it's going to make you smile, and it's going to give you that happily ever after that you're longing for. And Bure does a really good job of balancing the, I guess, more dramatic moments with a lot of the silliness that happens in this particular film. So Bure is playing Dr. Lauren Brunell. She is one of those people who has her whole life trajectory planned out. She's very focused. She's driven. She is going to be a big city doctor in a giant hospital. She's going to get all the accolades. And she's on track to do that when life just throws her a bit of a curveball. She ends up in this teeny tiny town in Alaska working at this ridiculous clinic where she's seeing all different kinds of patients that she'd never expected to see. She's working constantly, which isn't something that she hates, but definitely feels sort of at first a bit aimless because there's not an immediate goal to be met other than taking care of the immediate patients. And she's not really trying to impress anyone. She's just trying to do her job. And that's definitely something that's different for her. Of course, as she's in this teeny tiny Alaskan town, she meets tons of people, all of whom really make her feel at home and really make her feel like maybe she's been missing something. Again, not the most outside the box holiday Hallmark film, but it's okay. Of course, she meets a guy who she definitely has sparks with, but that's where it kind of gets a little bit different. So, this guy, Andy, he's just sort of an all around handyman for the town. He does what needs to be done. He's in line to take over his father's business. His father has some sort of factory export business, lots of workers, very busy at the holiday time. And he's set to take over, right? But he's just not ready. He's not ready to take those next steps. And so you've got these two people, one of whom is exceptionally driven, really focused, always trying to keep that momentum going. And there's another guy who's just trying to live in the moment. So you have two different personality types, but they each sort of blend together well. And I do think Beret's chemistry with O'Donnell, who plays Andy, it is really quite solid. You like seeing them on screen together. They definitely have sparks. Andy's father is played by a very jolly older gentleman, white haired, very happy, very people oriented, and it's pretty quick to see that his family is much more than meets the eye. So you've got elements of like mystery and silliness going on with your classic Hallmark-style holiday romance, and it just all sort of blends together into some really delightful moments. As mentioned, I love that this one does not take itself seriously, that it just goes with the flow. Things that might be looked at with a side eye by someone who's searching for something a little more serious, this is not going to be the movie for them anyway. So if you are looking for a holiday film that's got a little bit of comedy, fantasy, mystery sprinkled in with a medical romance, definitely check out Christmas Under Wraps. It's really sweet, it's really funny, and it's definitely different from your standard holiday romance without trying too hard. I think that's a good way to put it. So if you're looking for something light, fluffy, with some unexpected twists and turns, Christmas Under Wraps, definitely one to add to your watch list. All right, moving right along to our next recommendation. That is 2020's A Blue Ridge Mountain Christmas. Now, I have been a massive fan of Rachel Leigh Cook ever since I was a kid. She starred in She's All That. I loved her then. She's been a recurring character in the TV show Psych. Loved her then too. She's always really engaging on screen. She's cute, she's quirky, she's funny, she has great chemistry with whoever she's starring opposite. And I was delighted to find that she was starring in a Hallmark film that I had never seen. In A Blue Ridge Mountain Christmas, Cook plays a hotel manager named Willow who has to head back to her teeny tiny hometown in order to help her sister plan and execute a fancy Christmas wedding at the inn their family used to own. Now, the inn is currently owned by a very handsome, of course, widower with a young daughter. They meet, they do not hit it off at all, especially not at first. And, that little clash leads to more meetings, and no surprise, things do eventually turn around between the two of them, and they develop quite a friendship. Both of them looking at running this inn from very different points of view. Willow has all of these fond memories of her childhood and her grandfather and how things used to be, and connecting that into what she wants to do with her life. Whereas the current owner, David, has far less of a positive viewpoint of the inn. He likes owning it and running it. He really enjoys the town, but the inn had always been his wife's dream. So he feels like he's in this stagnant place where, everything is caught up in the past. that becomes apparent pretty early on in their relationship, friendship, whatever, where he's always thinking about, I should be moving on, doing something different in order to help myself and my daughter recover from the death of my wife. And the two of them, when they interact, it's just really interesting. And I found this to be not a more serious Hallmark holiday romance, but definitely one that covers some themes that you don't always see. Um, and I really appreciated that. I also thought that the acting was definitely more solid than some of the other Hallmark films I've seen in the past. So that's always a bonus. Plus, you actually have a child actress in this one that is not annoying, because sadly, I find that, especially with the TV movies, it's very hard for them to cast engaging children actors. But I really liked the little girl in this one. She was really sweet and she was really charming, and you could see how Willow would want to bond with her outside of her relationship with the father. So I don't know, it was win all the way around. If you are looking for a holiday movie that has a whole lot of really traditional themes in it, but that also sort of delves into much more complex relationships. Like I said, you're dealing with a widower who's still trying to move on from the grieving period. You're dealing with a young girl who's in a very transitional period of her own life, where she's dealing with potentially having to leave behind all of these memories she's tied with her mother who's passed, but yet still wanting to support her father. You've got Willow, who has all of these conflicted feelings about the inn in the first place, because she still kind of sees the inn as hers, but she understands how, David and his daughter are attached to it, but then they're moving on. I mean, there's a lot going on. But at no point does it get super convoluted or anything. It all really flows well. And it also, again, does not feel like it's trying it too hard. I hate that. I hate it. So this was a definite win in that category too. So if you're looking for something lovely and sweet, maybe a little more, heavy's not the right word, but a little bit more layered than your average Hallmark-esque holiday romance, check out A Blue Ridge Mountain Christmas. Sweet, romantic, great whole family relationships going on. I think you'll really, really like it. Okay, my final pick this week happens to be my pick of the week, and that is 2021's Reba McEntire's Christmas in Tune. I absolutely loved this one. I did not know it existed. I'm so happy I found it because it was just such a total joy to watch. I have never been the biggest contemporary country music fan. It just has never been my genre, but I have always absolutely adored Reba McEntire. Couldn't tell you why. I just have always loved her from the time I was a little kid. And it's just so much fun to see her in her own holiday movie. Plus, Reba McEntire's Christmas in Tune is total second chance romance film. There's nothing I love more than a second chance romance. I don't care if we're talking about Jane Austen style Persuasion second chance romance, or we're talking about Hollywood golden era Philadelphia story second chance romance. I love the whole concept of finding someone again and making things work. And this is that all over. So in this particular film, we have Georgia, played by Reba McEntire. Yeah, I know, Georgia. It just seems a little on the nose, but it totally works. Again, no judgment. We've got Georgia and Joe. Joe is played by John Schneider of Dukes of Hazzard fame. He also was in Smallville and tons and tons and tons of other things. Georgia and Joe used to be together, and they used to be a musical duo. They were hugely popular and incredibly famous. And then something happened and they just stopped. We don't know what happened. We don't know why they split. We don't know what's going on, but they did. They have an adult daughter now, and circumstances happen where she manages to convince them to, for one night, reunite and do a reunion concert. And this reunion concert is supposed to benefit soldiers, and it definitely works with the storyline. It's absolutely perfect. It makes sense that both parties, after a lot of conflict, would agree to come together for something like that. While they're sort of trying to get their rapport to a place where they can be in the same room, because at the beginning of the film they're not in that place, we get all kinds of really adorable moments. We get things with people who've known them for years, from years when they were together back in the day, to people who work with them in their current status, and all of those secondary characters, you can tell, are kind of rooting for these people, and it's just really cute. I'm telling you, I just loved this from the very beginning. So you've got this lovely central secondary or second chance romance going on, but you also have a side romance between the duo's daughter and an old school friend who is her primary contact with this military charity. And their romance is really lovely to follow along with as well. You've got tons of really solid music. Remember, I said, not a huge country music fan, but the music in this is really, really great. They even got an indie singer-songwriter, sort of folk country musician to have little blips throughout, and I loved her stuff a lot. You know, even if you're not a country music fan, again, not a big country music fan, I really think that you will love that side of this story in addition to the romance, because it just sort of works. It really sort of is central to the story, and, you know, I think you appreciate some of that a little bit more even by the end. And of course, there's this huge, like, song at the end between the two that he wrote clearly for her. It's just really great. If you are looking for something kind of reminiscent of, say, the Nashville TV series, but that's a whole lot lighter, because of course Nashville gets dark pretty much from the get-go, I would strongly recommend Christmas in Tune. You have that sort of storyline that's not musically related, but it's layered with music, so it's almost an integral part of everything. So I think this will definitely speak to Nashville fans. If you're a Reba McEntire fan, you absolutely have to watch it. I'm serious, it's just like so delightful. If you're just looking for a light, fluffy romance in general, second chance romance fans especially, this one, you just have to put it on your list. Again, this was my pick of the week. I don't think that if you're looking for a holiday romance, you can go wrong with this one. Please, please, please check it out. I promise you will absolutely love it. Okay, so those were my 3 picks for this week. If you have any holiday romance picks that you would like to recommend to other people seeking Christmas in July, please comment with those below. I definitely am looking for more Hallmark-esque holiday romances. If you have any recommendations for future themes that you would like to see me cover, comment with those as well. Definitely need help with that. I always love putting these lists together. It really is a joy to sort of dive into our catalog and see what's there. So thank you for watching and letting me do that. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and sign off, and hopefully I will see you next week. Bye-bye.